Today, I'd like to address a major issue that many people aren't even talking about, and that is the inability to focus. Our brains have been systematically rewired to crave these shallow, quick, and repetitive dopamine loops over and over and over again. From the moment we wake up in the morning until the moment we go to bed at night. If you watched the other video from, it's probably 2 videos back, I talked about how we're always so plugged in, we're always so stimulated, and our brains never get a chance to fully rest. What this does is not only distract you and keep you stimulated and awake, but it has, as I mentioned, systematically rewired your brain to crave these quick and novel dopamine hits. Because the idea of a new post that you might like being in the algorithm excites you, so you scroll, and then you scroll to the next one, and then you scroll to the next one, and the next one, and it keeps going on and on and on. In doing so, you are training your mind to crave novelty, to crave these instantaneous dopamine loops. And because of this, it makes doing something like focused work damn near impossible. Because with focus work, you must sit down and block out all distractions, completely give your attention to the task at hand. If your mind isn't wired to do such things, then you won't be able to accomplish whatever task you're trying to accomplish. Very simple, right? You might be thinking, okay, but what is dopamine? Maybe you don't quite know exactly what it is. In short, dopamine is the neurotransmitter, the neurochemical released in the brain when you're in pursuit of some exciting thing. So for example, let's say you plan a trip to Hawaii. It's 14 days out. As it goes from 14 to 13 to 12, 11, 10, and so on days out, the closer you get, the more dopamine you feel because you're excited. This is something you are anticipating. It's coming in the future. And this links with content consumption of especially short form videos because you're flooding your dopamine receptors with every scroll you make, hence making deep work impossible. So that was a whirlwind of an intro, but let's fully get into it here. The average person checks their phone over 200 times a day. That's once every 7 minutes, and it typically totals up to about 5.5 hours, which is absolutely nuts. I highly recommend you check your screen time, open up your phone, go into the settings, find screen time, and see where you're at. Assess, okay, I'm spending the most time in the mornings on these apps, I'm spending the most time throughout the day on these apps, and I'm spending my evenings on these apps. Just gain clarity on it. I'm not saying you need to make these massive changes right now because it's not easy to do, but gain clarity on it and find out what's next. That sun right there is so bright, so I'm rocking with these for the rest of the video. Here's a quote that I love. If you pursue pleasure first and foremost, you will not find it. Viktor Frankl. Now, this is a very general quote. You can apply it to any domain of life, but in this case, we're talking about content consumption and distractibility in tandem with the ability to do focused work. In my opinion, this is an amazing time to be alive. Everything is so convenient, at least if you're watching this video, that is. Things are convenient. Our problems are not rooted in survival. And we can connect with anybody in the world with the tap of this digital screen. It's amazing. Life is awesome. But the convenience of life and the simplicity, well, not simplicity, but the quick access to such things like our phone, our laptop, TV, etc., have made us overindulge. They've made us use these things like a crutch. When you're pissed off at something that happened, you scroll. When you're upset, you scroll. When you're feeling lonely, you scroll or you watch TV or whatever. Insert such vice into that category, all right? And this is a problem. It's a problem because we have subconsciously programmed ourselves to seek out this immediate loop of positive feelings, of dopamine and serotonin seeking. So no matter the circumstance we're dealing with, we turn to our phones or to the TV or to whatever, just to get our mind off whatever that hardship is. Another reason why this is a problem is because you unconsciously rewire your brain to associate hardship with a form of escapism. What I mean by this is you try something new, you fail, and you're like, well, I'm done. And you go back to your ways of just scrolling for 10 hours a day, watching 5 hours of TV, whatever. And you lose the ability to be resilient. So not only are you destroying your dopamine, not only are you destroying your ability to pay attention and do deep focused work, but you're also destroying your ability to be resilient. From there, you're stuck in a loop. Try something. Face hardship and get frustrated. Seek out quick dopamine. Waste time and energy. Get frustrated with yourself for doing so. The cycle continues day after day after day. It never ends. Here's a direct quote from my newsletter that this video is based on. The greatest tragedy isn't failing to achieve your dreams, but being so constantly distracted you forget you ever had them. This to me is something that many people are facing right now. We're so distracted, we're so worried about what's going on in the external world that we forget what we're pursuing. We forget our interests. We forget what excites us. And it's not that people don't have aspirations, people don't have goals. From what I've observed in society, with family members, with people I've worked with in the past, with the common man on the street, is that we're just so tied up in whatever else is going on the outside. And we insert ourselves into problems. We insert ourselves into news streams and content that doesn't apply to us at all. Because of this, we get so pulled away from what it is we initially wanted to do with our lives that we forget about it. So let's avoid this. Let's rewire our brains to enjoy deep work, to enjoy focus, to enjoy pursuing difficult things, to achieve this natural dopamine. All right, here are 3 steps that you can do, 3 things that I have done that have quite honestly changed my life. Number 1 is the focused first protocol. So the first hour, 2 hours of every day, I do deep work. I write, I meditate, I make videos like this now, which has been exciting. And the reason I do it at the beginning of the day is because it allows me to build momentum from the very start. A lot of people, myself included, in the past, wake up, immediately check your phone. You check your text messages, you check your emails, you check Instagram, all other social medias that you might be on. And what you're doing with this is you're allowing the external world to come into your mind so early in the morning. So you're priming yourself for anxiety, for worry, for stress. You're spiking cortisol, whereas that's the last thing that should be spiking that early in the morning. All right? So with the focused first protocol, you're taking 1 or 2, maybe 3 needle moving tasks that you enjoy doing, that are fulfilling to you, and you're engaging with them fully. So like I said, for me, that's writing, usually in a journal, but sometimes on my laptop. That's meditation for 15 to 40 minutes, depending on what I'm doing throughout the day and if I want to meditate for longer or not. And the third is now recording these videos. It's 6:25 a.m. and yeah, I'm loving this. So step one is the focused first protocol. Step number two, this is something that I'll admit I don't always do, but I'm working on it. It's the old school hour. What this is simply 1 hour of no technology. Now, I'm not saying you can't use your stove or a microwave or you can't bring a flashlight with you on a walk. No. But what I mean is no cell phone, no podcast, no music, no TV, none of that, okay? I suggest you move this towards the end of your day when you're trying to unwind, but ultimately you can do this whenever. Maybe when you go on a walk. Maybe when you're cooking breakfast in the morning. Whatever the case may be, spend 1 hour with no tech that's keeping you plugged in. Your brain will thank you. And if you do this every single day, you will naturally, slowly reset your dopamine. And in resetting your dopamine, you become more interested in pursuing difficult things, which makes focusing, especially for longer periods of time, a lot more doable and enjoyable, quite honestly. Step number three is reward inversion. This is the idea that you will not do whatever pleasurable thing you'd like to do until you've put the hard work in, until you've focused, until you have spent some time throughout your day doing something that you deem fulfilling and useful. So for example, I love cooking massive omelets. I'm talking 4, 5, 6 egg omelets. And I could eat the minute I wake up, but what I do instead is I'll go for a walk. I will meditate. I will journal. I will record a video. And only after doing these things will I cook myself a massive 4, 5, 6 egg omelet. All right? What this does is it rewires your brain to think, okay, I can only get this thing after I accomplish the task I'm trying to do. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Quick one today, but hopefully it's helpful. I highly recommend you take these things and try one of them. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, but even just one simple change can make a huge difference in your life. Because these days, most people are distracted, and the ability to focus is a game changer. So, already, I'll end it there. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things. And I'll see you in the next one.